All right, welcome everyone to the Master Vox. I am Scuba Addict here, casting a Squire Joust Tournament from Hobo Tango's Kingdom of the Noobs. So what we're looking at here is a bunch of new players. With me, co-casting, I have Nilla. Nilla, would you like to introduce yourself?
What is up, boys? So I think we're gonna call this series the bum fights, right?
You know what?
Isn't that what we decided on?
Yep, the Bum Fight series. All right, so also known as the Squire Joust from Hobo Tango's Kingdom of the Noobs. All right, so introducing our players over here, we have Willard in the red playing 8th Cav, and then we have Jimster Hacks playing 17th SS on the left in blue. Ooh, we have a nice opening down south.
Yeah, we got the standard for 17th SS, what are those called again? The tractions, but he's got the field police there, and he doesn't have much Volkstrom coming up, so it looks like he's just using those really for the transport.
Yeah, that and the sniper that they have. Oh no, these guys aren't the ones with the snipers. Oh,
Yeah, Toulon gets the sniper ones.
yeah. I think that he's just using them for like just that map control and get that early get in there.
Yeah, if you look up north too, it's getting really hot and heavy up there as well. They're just hitting each other right off the bat with the Ju-87 coming in up north, take out the SPWs. And Willard just has a ton of AT guns and machine guns in the field.
Oh, those 47s always punch above their weight too. Oh, can he dodge it? Oh shit! And he pins the Pack 40.
The pin on the Pack 40 there is huge, but the IG-33, if it gets up into position, it's going to wipe out those IGs up there.
Yeah, I can see that because that 2K range, the fact that the 47 mils only have that 1250 range is going to be a massive hamper here.
Yeah, but if he brings that Ju-87 out, gets it rearmed, and then comes back pretty quickly, it would be pretty good, but he's just letting it circle right now, which leaves Jamster some time here to fly out a plane and shoot it down. There he goes, he calls it out.
Yeah, that's a smart move, but if we look on top of the hill here, we have that SPW-231 gonna hold everything if it kills that AB Horsch. Ooh, that's gonna be a tough fight for that AB Horsch, because that extra 5 mils of penetration on the 231. Ooh, who's gonna get it?
I think it's going to be the Horch because he has the 2 vet and he got the first salvo off. Yeah, he got
to
pull back. One thing there that Willard could have done was move up his leader because he had the Panzerschreck, and that's what he had it there probably to do initially other than the leader bonus. But letting his guys up there get pinned down a little bit is going to slow him down up north. But since he has so many more guys on the hill, he's going to end up taking it.
Oh, we're about to watch the Stuka swoop. There we go. Get that IG-33. Get it. Yes.
Nice.
Oh shit! And I'm not seeing any AA coming out from Jamster Hacks either. And those, what are they? Flak 43s are so good.
Yeah, and then he also later in the game gets an 88 and then an SDKFZ. So there's good AA that Jamster has, but looking at his deck, he doesn't have any planes to call in right away. So he's limited himself to 237 mils in A phase. So if Willard notices that there's not a lot of AA, there's no planes coming out, you can really start putting the pressure on with those Ju-87s.
Yeah, and I'm noticing Willard has what 3 Ju-87 D5, so we're looking at the 500 pounders, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, that 231 one in the middle area in the lungs portion, but there's nothing to push the line forward.
Yeah, well, there's that one military police rolling up in the middle there. That's about it. It's a man on a mission.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the paladin or the lieutenant can't see him to let him know that that's there.
Oh, he's just under the lip. If you look at the line of sight, just barely getting broken on line of sight there.
Oh yeah, you're right. But the Kalarashi will do the Lord's work over there, putting those field police down.
Yeah, with their double vet sniper action.
Yeah.
There's another Ju-87 coming in. He's just cleaning up all of these. There you go. Now we have the first Flak 36 getting called out. But the damage has kind of been done off the start by Willard here, dropping those Ju-87s. And they have the 250s, 250s and then 450 kilograms.
It's still enough to kill a static emplacement of a gun. Oh, there goes the Pack 40, I bet. Yep,
there it goes. See here that Jamster's getting really aggressive in the lungs here with his SPWs, and that's the right place to go counterattack in. He still has a foothold up north. He has support guns on the hill a little bit. Oh, no, he just has the Pack 50, or the Pack 38 50 mil. So Jamster's done a really good job of picking off things from Willard here when Willard had the initial advantage off the start there.
Yeah,
So
and
it's going to be interesting to see what Jamster can do to turn around the tide up north.
true. And that Pack 38, I think, is firing APCR, but it's not going to matter because we got that JU-87D3 with the not in place Flak 36. Ooh, is it going to get out?
He's going to get the bombs off, but the Black 36 might get him here if he doesn't evac it. Oh, he makes it quick
Yep.
evac. Good micro there.
And currently in the lungs right now, they got guys stationed to push through it, but those Kalarasi Motos aren't going to see any action anytime soon because I think all the micro's happening up north.
Yeah, micro's happening up north and down south. Willard just dropped a JU-87 on the town while Jamster's bringing in more infantry. And we're seeing the first tanks deployed by Willard. We got some Tron 2s coming in. So both sides are really focusing on the southern and northern portion, and it seems like their micro is pretty stretched right now.
Yeah, I think that they're just like jumping back and forth, you know, just trying to micro, and we're seeing like minor mishaps here because of that. Oh, the D5 goes down up north.
Oh, yeah, it's that veterancy there. Skooma, give a look to the town down south. Look at all that stuff that Willard has that he could just push up with. He could clear the town out with all that. He outnumbers Jamster there.
And the crazy part is we only see one SS Legionary here. Like, whoo, I was expecting more out of that. Because they're such good units.
And he's catching them outside of the Molotov range, and they're just getting mowed down by the double MG42s there. That's brutal.
Oh, that's oof. And everything's 1 star here. We're not really seeing much leadership usage from either side, really. Now that I'm like taking a quick look up and down the field.
Jamster's doing a great job with the armored cars, being able to flex with them, move, and the fact that he's using the 233s, those did a pretty good job of cleaning up those little AT guns and machine guns up north. And now he's just taking the hill back in the longs in the middle.
Yeah, and then I wonder who's going to win, 2-2-3-3s or a Turon 2 that doesn't even know it's getting shot at yet.
Yeah, my money's on the 233s.
Oh shit, is the Turon 2 going to get the first shot off? Oh, is he?
I think it is.
Oh,
it's the Legionary. Some good fire support here from both sides.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy. And then we got some 60 mils up to try to take that top hill completely. Ooh, those Legionary are going to feel some pain.
Willard's bringing a JU-87 down south, but Jamster's got a 37 up, and it's going to do the same thing it did up north to the other JU-87s. So looks like Willard might lose 2 of his actually super cost-effective JU-87s thus far.
Yeah, well, you got to think, wait, the one JU-87 or 2, 140 points. It kills an SIG-33, so that's 50 points, and then a Pack 40, that's 60 points. If it doesn't die, it's already paid itself off for at least 2 of the cards almost. Or 2
and
of the
it does make it
talents.
out. And that's also not taking into account the other damage it has done, whether it be infantry squads or calculations that Jamster has to make now, like calling out those Flak 36s. So it's got value beyond the sum of its kills, and it's survived. So now what I think Willard should do is bring out some more 60 mils down south and just pepper that Flak 36 with it. Because in that town, you can get those 60 mils pretty close to the front line and keep them out of line of sight and drop that 60 mil mortar further back, even though it has a limited range.
Yeah, well, that 1,500 meter range, especially if it gets into the rear of that city, covers most of the city itself. Like, especially with the engagement zone that we got going on now.
Yeah, and the rate of fire is really fast, too.
Oh, yeah.
In all honesty, it's my favorite mortar in the game.
Well, you throw it on defensive fire, you forget about it, and it just does the Lord's work by pinning. It doesn't need to kill, it just needs to pin.
Yeah, the issue is it runs out of ammo, because it's pinning so much.
Oh, we have Jamster Hacks noticing those 60 mil mortars. Now, those 60 mil mortars are super close together, so if we have one artillery strike, maybe... Oh, I don't see anything, but we also have no AA going on here for Willard, so maybe Jamster Hacks might take advantage of that with his GU88 S1.
Yeah, the only issue really that Jamster has in their deck is there's a lack of indirect fire support so far, other than B phase. But with it being 2 Mavericks against one another, that's a lot of artillery in B phase to call out. So either they're going to have to use that situationally or just completely invest into artillery in B phase and let that be what carries them to victory. And I
Mm.
don't think that's the right move. So
No,
should
because
be
you
just
need
one SK-18.
you would need speed and aggression in Maverick, and then using those artillery pieces to pin down. And I agree with your SK-18 comment. Like, that's such a good artillery piece, but maybe the Nebuchadnezzar 150 and A would be a better move, just to allow him to have an MLRS strike to pin down, like in some key terrain areas.
Yeah, well, that's the other part too, is when you're going into a tournament game rather than a quick player ranked, you know what map you're going to be playing on. So walking into that, you can edit your deck, say, okay, I know there's going to be a town fight if we're playing on Shedrin, or there's going to be a fight for the hill. If I bring in that Nebel Warfare in A phase, I can stun the hill immediately. If I bring it out with the supply truck, then I have supplies for all of A phase. I don't need to bring a supply truck out in A phase.
And the other good thing about that, speaking of bringing the Nebuchadnezzar for 150 out with the supply truck, is the fact you're able to shoot and scoot every time you move, so that you're never actually in threat of indirect fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Because
no,
if those 60 mil mortars get in the range of it, however, it's going to do some major damage.
I mean, if a Nebuchadnezzar with 7k plus range gets hit by a 60 mil, something has gone horribly wrong. Also, that 60 mil.
I live on the edge. I bring it up close.
That 60 mil you were talking about in the south, he's doing that exact thing. He's using it to pepper down these Fel Gendarmerie. And he's also moved a Zarini 2 up. Now, that's going to be a massive threat to that Flak 36, because it might take 2 shots to kill that entire AA piece and then allow for air to interdict down there.
Yeah, and then the Zarini takes out the Martyr too, so it's uncontested. The only AT in the town currently is the Volksdeutsche that's on the other flank of the town down south. Now the Stug's coming in, but at close range like that with a heat shell, if you just get penned once by that, I think it's a big enough shell to one hit. Yeah, it's 10 damage.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think these Zarinis in this newest update hit way above their weight class. Like, they do more than they should.
Yeah, they're good. The only issue I think is there might be a bug, unless it's been fixed with their HE, where it's really like 1500 meter range because there's some elevation issue. But you know how Eugen works.
Yeah, well, right now I'm looking at the card, and the 105 HE shells is 2k, and then the heat shell is 1500. So we have that going for it. But we have the Zarini. Nope, it's not a Zarini Stug fight. It's a Zarini Panzer Grenadier Stug Rosiori Assault fight.
Brutal. Fire support tank at that range.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, he's using the Flak 36. He might be calling in this Ju-87 D3 with the clusters to save that D5, though I don't know what happens to that D3. And we're not seeing...
It might make it out.
Yeah, but we're not seeing that 60 mil, even though it's in with 1500, actually try to stop that flak.
I think that Willard might be looking somewhere else on the map currently, this map's interesting. Willard's got, the positional advantage. He holds most of the ground. He's pushed back Jimster in the town, but it's only a 13-11.
That is true. This map, you have to really push in a few areas to, make a difference. Oh, that's Zarini. Oh, God. Oh, it's bouncing the Stug. Oh, God, what's going on? Oh, that heat shell. Oh, God.
Oh, there goes the pen. The Zarini's going to try to pull out of there, but I don't think it's going to make it.
Nope, it failed to disengage. All right.
Arn Jesus said, no, sir.
All right, so this is the time for the cluster bombers now that you've pinned down that Flak 36.
Yeah, and they're moving the Ju-87 from the north down south to take out the Stug.
Oh, that is a beautiful move here from Willard. Oh, and you know what? That might actually take out the Aufklärer as it comes in, too, if he doesn't pay attention.
It's going to be a little too late. That's a really good play there by Willard. It's always nice seeing players, even if they're new to the game, too, calling in planes and then seeing there's a new priority target and then moving laterally on the map with their units. That's what one issue a lot of newer players run into is they don't move laterally. They always go vertically through the map and they're like, okay, I'm just going to go straight with this unit down the road. I called it into the flag. I wanted it to go to support instead of moving it around. So awesome work there by Willard with the micro.
That moving from one lane to another will make the biggest difference ever when it comes to reprioritizing what you need to do with your vehicles. Now, one thing I want to point out is up north in that same little area of death, we have the Flak 41 and an SIG 33 just staring down the road with hate and discontent in their heart.
That's an old school combo right there.
Isn't that from back when you used to play competitively?
Yeah, and that's also kind of like the Halo days where you had the shotgun and the sniper.
Ooh.
IG-33 to take out anything that threatens the 88, and the 88 to take out anything that threatens the 33, except the mortars. Mortars are going to clean them up.
Yeah, I don't know, though, because these mortars only have 15 shells left apiece, and I don't think that will be able to kill. It'll be able to pin, but we're going to need to see some...
Took out the DMA.
Oh, those poor STEM pioneers. But we're seeing that danger close Nebuchadnezzar strike that you love. You see how close they are?
Close. Oh. Yeah.
Now, the reason why you want to do that, now correct me if I'm wrong, is because that dispersion circle is super small compared to what it would be like 7K away. So you're going to get a few of those rockets on target.
Yeah, and the other thing with the 150 is it's good, but when it's not super accurate, there's a chance that it doesn't do enough damage to be worth the supplies for that shot and the reload time. So the closer you bring it up, like you said, that smaller that cone's going to be and the more damage you're going to do on your target. Now, the issue is, and thankfully Jimster stopped calling it in, they put the circle in the wrong area a little too far behind the 60mm mortars. But now that the 60mm is about to open up again, maybe Jimster notices and gets it more on target and takes him out.
Yeah, I think he canceled the strike just because he didn't know exactly where they were. And we're about to find out and see if he's going to be able to counter battery. Yep, he's got the counter battery set up. And he's got the aim going. Oh, he's going to get both of them, I bet.
Perfect. Yeah, it's really good drop right there. And then we can see the SDKFZ's out in the middle, but it's not going to stop the JU-88. That JU-88's good, but it's being used for the wrong job here.
How would you use it?
It did good damage there to the IG-33, but that one there is better for fights in the town or forest since it's a bunch of 50-kilogram bombs. It's really good to stun. So if you have a large area that units are set up vertically in, dropping it that way is really good. So if you want to fly it into the map and then have it hook either a left or a right from one of the flanks and then bomb horizontally across the map, it's really good at clearing out a forest, clearing out a town for you to push forward.
All right, and that goes along with the whole 60mm idea if you want to pin them rather than kill them so your infantry can run in and surrender them, right?
Yep. Yeah, same with the Ju-87 cluster bombers, using those to pin infantry in towns and forests. It's better to go in, pin the infantry, and then push forward because either they have to give up the terrain to keep their infantry alive or they're just going to surrender the terrain with their troops surrendering.
All right, now what we have a big kill here is that Hetzer just got done killing the Jagdpanzer 470, or Jagdpanzer 4, I can't remember what they have it in this game as. But that was a pretty big kill here, because now we're seeing a complete lack of armor. We're going to... Oh, we got a JU-88S1 coming in with 2 500 kilograms. But that lack of armor is going to allow Willard down south to bully these reinforcement roads.
Yeah, and one thing, too, is that Jagdpanzer 38 there in the town could be taken out by that Pack 40 if it was in a better position. Now, the Jagdpanzer's in a good spot. Its right flank's covered by a house, but there's points where that Pack 40 had a good shot on the road that it was moving down. So that's a missed opportunity there by Jimster to take out something that's threatening his survival in the town.
Now, would you say for moving that Pack 40 into the wooded area just directly to its south in order to cover down on the town itself would probably be a good move?
Yeah, and then at its extreme range, not only does it cover inside of the town, it covers that bridge into the town just a little bit as well. So you get a lucky shot here and there on a slower moving vehicle going across the bridge.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And that cutting off reinforcement roads, whew, that is a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah, and one thing, too, that we've done is we've kind of gotten tunnel vision down in the south because a lot's been going on, and not a ton's been going on up in the north. What's happened, it looks like, is Willard's taken his long back, and Jimster's pushed Willard out of his long, and then the hill in the north is completely under Willard's control. So makes sense for Jimster to be pushing back into the town because it's do or die there. But again, it's still a 12-12. It's not even a 13-11 anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that there's been so much dynamic movement in this game from both players doing a fantastic job. But here's what we were talking about earlier with that 150, using that Nebuchadnezzar for an A to pin something down so he can throw his Sturm Pioneers straight onto this, and he'd only be dealing with, what, a Rosiori?
And then the Hort, that's about it. Because that
Yeah.
leader, it's good, but it's not going to take out infantry.
Nope. But we still have. I think that what we're looking here is Willard doesn't have a direct answer right away, even though he's got the 120 mil mortars and the 100 millimeter artillery guns. But that's an investment he'd have to use to take out that SIG and that Flak 41 combo over there.
Yeah. Another thing, too, that in the long run that's been interesting is the AA call out from Jimster is just there's so much of it. And that's only due to a few Ju-87s with HE bombs that total, 140 to, what is it, like 190 points?
So right now we've seen a few. I'm gonna guess that he's bought two, so that's 140 points, and then two investment call-ins of cluster bombers. So you're looking at another 200 points there. I'm just gonna round it up. So what?
Yeah.
340 points out of this entire game, and we're seeing two SDKF-7-1s, a Flak 41, two Flak 43s. Like, there's a massive investment in air coming in from Jimster.
And what that's done, and now to Jamster's credit, the plane's been falling out of the sky, and I just looked over. The Ju-87s are 70 points, so it'd be 210 points for all three.
Yeah.
But it's allowed Willard to get into the town, put pressure on it, and then stun the flanking units like we saw with the IG-33.
Yeah.
And it's taken points away from holding the town.
That is true. And then what we're looking at here with Jimster Hacks' infantry is they're cheap enough to where he should be able to push a lot in, but he's just lost that foothold, and then we see the Jagdpanzer or the Hetzers just hitting those reinforcement roads.
Yeah, and those Hetzers are hard to take out too because they have that 105 front armor.
Yeah.
So at range, they'll go toe-to-toe with the Stugs if there's any more Stug 4s coming out.
Now, question for you here. Those Karadashi Motos, they're basically Romanian Panzer Grenadiers. How do you think they're going to hold up in this firing squad format that he's got them set up in the southern town?
So long as they have clear lines of fire with their machine guns, they'll be okay. But those Sturm Pioneers get into buildings with them, the Sturm Pioneers are going to wipe the floor because they don't have the ZB-30, so they're not going to be able to shoot their machine gun in close quarters.
Oh, that's right. They are MG-34, so they're basically just Romanian Panzer Grenadiers through and through.
They're 42s, yeah. They're straight up just Romanian Panzer Grenadiers.
Yep. In the lungs, if we look up north, we have a push coming in from SS Legionary. And I think that's just a mistimed push because we also have the Nebuchadnezzar re-aiming. So once they fall back, regain some of their stress, and move back in, I think he'll be able to take that northern portion.
Yeah, and then there goes the Ju-88 doing what it's really built to do is just carpet bomb infantry there. But like you were saying about the Legionary being a little mistimed, that bomb is a little mistimed. And part of that is because of the AA setup now.
Yeah, I think that we have a really strong AA net, and I don't really see Willard investing more into air. But the crazy thing is, Willard has invested 0 points into any anti-aircraft guns to deny any area for Jimster Hacks. So I wonder if he's going to take advantage of that.
He also has a lot of other planes. Well, not a lot. He has a card of BF-109s that can start picking off these Ju-88s, or at least make Jimster think twice before flying them out. Because if this keeps up and we get later into C phase, the points are going to get a lot more tight, and being able to call out a 95 to 105 point AA piece, it's going to be a lot harder to justify when you're running out of infantry on a very vital flag.
Very true. And it's looking like Jimster has the 105.40 mil. So does that mean he's taking him with a supply truck?
Yes.
Okay, that's going to be interesting.
I think so. Oh, no, not supply truck. It's the Hotchkiss one. It's the dual machine gun one.
Okay. Oh, I don't even know why you'd take that. Just, I personally don't really see it doing much, honestly.
There was one patch where it was good, and then it got nerfed. So
Let me
guess. It's not even worth it anymore.
You used it against infantry.
I think it was 10v10 guys that got into a tiss over it. They were like, this is too good. And so Eugene's like, okay, we're nerfing it. I could be wrong, but that's what my memory's telling me.
All right, so right now we have the PaK-40 engaging the Zarini with APCR turned off. Great call there. Oh, Jesus, this Zarini is just taking its pound of flesh before it dies. Oh.
Brutal. If that got a direct hit there, it might have stunned or killed the PaK-40 outright.
Yeah, it got a direct hit on the second hit, and it brought down like 3 health points out of it. but we didn't see it be able to finish it off.
See here, the A is really paying dividends, stopping the Ju-88 from stunning the Pack 40 there. Now, the issue there is what Willard should have done is drop it on the infantry, because the tank and the Pack 40, or the Martyr 3, excuse me, it's not going to really do much. If you take out that infantry, those two need to pull back or they're going to get taken out by your infantry.
Yeah, the other curious thing we're noticing here is the fact that he has all this mid to long range infantry knife fighting in the south. So I think we're misplacing the Roshiori assaults that he's actually put a lot more up north to hold that town or the lung area, and instead invested them down south. Oh god, the Nebawerfer strike! It's beautiful. It's opening that bridgehead. D-Day onto this town. Let's go.
To your point too about the lung area, the Vanatori Fanatic guys too, those would have been a lot better in the town because they have 4 MP28s and they have 2 ZB30s, so they can go toe-to-toe with the Sturm Pioneers. Now, they're going to likely get stunned a little quicker by the flamethrowers if there's more Sturm Pioneers, but they have more firepower available to them when they're fighting house-to-house with the flamethrowers, and they're fanaticals. They won't surrender.
All right, also, I'm going to bring your attention up north even further to the head. So with that Nebawerfer strike, he was able to push in those SS Legionary, and oh my god, are they delicious to, like, just watch do their knife fighting. With those Molotovs and those Berettas, and the, what have they got, G43s? Oh, yep. They are just a nightmare.
They're one of those units that were power creepy when they came out and have survived the subsequent power creep that's just been given each and every update. So it goes to show you, even though it's a pretty anemic squad at 8 men, the Fanatic trait, the Molotov, and then just the loadout it does have is just really good. And all for the cheap price of 25 points. I mean, it got nerfed. It used to be 20 points.
Yeah, I remember those days with 20 points. But I think, honestly, with the SS Legionary, if you put them in the right spot and give them the right support, they do the Lord's work. And they, like we see it up here, they just cleared out that entire northern hill.
Yeah, and they're going to hold it, too, so long as this Aufklär and the Horch stays alive.
Yeah, I think that Horch giving that fire support to them, because they're only firing their 4 G43s right now, is going to be the key.
Yeah, staying out of range there of those ZB30s is going to be important, but if he loses this one squad here, it won't be the end of the world. Yeah, he's going to pull it back there. Good micro. Oh, I think it's still getting caught out.
Yeah, I think it's still going to get caught out, but at the same time, like, whenever those ZB40s fire, the 4 of them, all of the rest of the Legionary unit's going to fire too, so it's just going to be a bloodbath either way.
Now, I have a question for you. I don't know about you, but for me personally, whenever somebody attacks me in a town and tries pushing me out, I get a little personally offended. I'm like, you think you're going to push me out of town, dude? Like, that's not happening. So, do you think that Jimster's having that kind of, mentality down south? Because he keeps dumping infantry into the town. When up north, he's actually doing really, really well.
I think what we're seeing now is Jimster may have felt personally slighted about the fact that we were talking about him finally making a bridgehead, right? So, you got pushed out.
Finally.
So what we're seeing here now is I think that he feels confident up north with his wham-bam combo of an SIG-33, Flak 41, and now the fire support, the SS Legionaries. I think he feels comfortable to just dump Volkdeutsche. So we're talking the old men and the young boys with all the stuff just getting thrown into this town.
One other thing to keep in mind, too, as we get longer into the game is the time limits. So this is a time limit game. It's a tournament game, so there's only so much time on the clock. You can't just sit here and let the time go on forever. And what's really important about that is looking up north, Willard just deployed a machine gun into the town that he controls. So that's really him indicating that up north he's weak. He put that there because he's like, well, if he pushes down the hill here, I'll have something to stop him. And other than that, there's really nothing up north that can threaten, 1, armor, or 2, a push into that town. That machine gun gets spotted, you have multiple squads or an armored vehicle, it's taking it out.
Now, I'm going to say this, though. With Willard capitulating in the north and the fact that these Nebawerfer strikes have been doing amazing jobs in the south, we haven't really seen a reaction from Willard when it comes to a counter battery option, and I think that he was able to hold the town because he didn't invest into those support weapons, but now we're seeing the investment into all of those support weapons from Jimster hacks paying dividends.
Yeah, and looking at their decks too from the start of the video, if somebody wants to go back and just look at it, look at how the decks are built out compared to one another. Willard's deck has a lot of units in A phase heavy, which is fine as a Maverick, it's okay, but you need to really set yourself up in A phase to break them in B phase, and that hasn't happened. Because if you look at all the armor in Willard's deck, it's all in A phase. And what do we have happening in this town down south now? We have Rosita's going in to try to deal with the Stugs that keep popping up. So what's that indicating to us is that he's probably out of armored vehicles.
I would say he's out of armored vehicles, and I'm surprised we haven't seen some more Venatori de Cara or just a Panzerschreck unit in general for that knife fightiness, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because those Venatori de Cara, I can't remember if this deck has them with the Gabixa Gabung, the satchel charge, but they are amazing. You throw them with a Kalarasi de Moto or Rosiori, oh, they do amazing work in like close quarters too.
Yeah, and we can see too up north, Jimster's really putting the pressure in the forest, and that would be the place to put that Pioneer unit. But it's just, the way it goes is those Legionaries show up and they just clear everything in front of them.
Oh yeah, and then we have an advancing STKFZ, which is beautiful. He's moving that AA net up with his advance to give him that proper support, and we just watched that JU go down because of it.
Yeah, fire support on Willard's end is just gone. There's no more fire support to be had. It's just infantry now and machine guns.
Yeah, and these Rashitsas are only going to be able to do so much with where they're at right now with the line of sight. That might have been a panic buy, but I can see it trying to stem any armored pushes down those roads.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. Jimster doesn't need to take the town, but they keep putting stuff into the town, which, like we were saying earlier, understandable. You got disrespected, I get that. But if you keep pushing in the lung, you're going to take so many more flags.
Yeah, I don't think that Willard sees how weak, or Jamster sees how Willard is really weak in the lungs with only that one Venatori de Gada. And I wonder how we're going to see Willard move reinforcements into that lung just because he's already cut off the one reinforcement route.
Yeah, well, the issue is if that Venatori dies there, the whole lung area collapses, and that tells Jimster immediately, hey, there's nothing here, just move.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Oh, this is gonna get bad, especially with all those lungs falling too. Ooh.
Yeah.
You can look down south. He's not even microing down south anymore. We have a bunch of infantry out. Oh, he's back onto it.
Oh no, he's doing the good micro, the Q move.
Well, we in the kingdom we call that the hobo special. It's a bit of a bum rush.
yeah, bum rush for a bum fight. See here, the A net just once again is doing work.
He's gonna be able to get those.
JU-88.
Yeah, but he's gonna be able to get the bombs off, but they're gonna either miss, and even if they didn't miss, the fact that they're fanatical, he's not gonna be able to surrender them.
Yeah, I mean, he just killed a ton of trees.
Now, I can't remember. Fanatical units, do they still kill them down to a man instead of surrendering them? Like, I'm talking like fanatical down to like a normal infantry. Normal infantry is
they surrender them now. They don't war crime them anymore.
Because I remember that was a big problem.
Yeah, you can remove the war crime mechanic from the game, thank God.
Oh no, now we're seeing Jimster Hacks bring in his own JU-88 with those two 500-pound bombs. Oh, it just took down that bum rush.
Oh my God, you can see all the little infantry sprites in the field, and there goes the surrender. That was a valiant effort there by Willard, but Jimster just held out very, very well.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I pretty much thought that Willard had it at the beginning with the way he was playing, but we saw that slow incremental support unit used by Jimster Hacks that just brought it out. And I think that is represented in the KD here.
Yeah, and really what Jimster did so well was the investments. Jimster made the right investments at the right time, and they paid off. Because just looking at the chronology, it was really bad for Jimster for about 15, 20 minutes. And which is very interesting, it turned around in a late B phase, early C phase, and two Mavericks playing against one another. That's pretty cool to see that work out that way. But hey, I said I'm like, I don't know if the artillery is going to work out. The artillery did good, the AA did really well, and the reason I think it did really well was the lack of staying and pushing power from Willard because looking at their deck, they only had like a handful of armored vehicles, so it was all infantry at that point. And
Yeah,
planes
that is a
not going to take
problem
out
with
the
Eighth.
yeah. So great matchup there for Jamster.
It was a great job by both players, and I can't wait to see more of the bum fight series go on from Hobo Tango's Kingdom of the Noob Squire Joust Tournament.
Yeah, that honestly, I didn't really feel like a bum fight. Those were two pretty good players.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm gonna put this plug out there for anyone who sees this who's not a member of Hobo Tango's Kingdom. I highly recommend joining it. They have tournaments for newer players. I picked this one because I figured, oh, these are two higher end newer players, you know. But I wanted to show that it's not just Steel Division League or the boot camp that has tournaments going on, but there are other places out there too. So that is my plug for Hobo Tango. And with that, thank you everyone for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in the next game.
Hope you guys enjoyed.